Many events and ideas contributed to the creation of the constitutional government. Agendas led to disputes, and these issues led to compromises and resolutions. We have put together a visual production that represents a number of these influences, summarizing each event as they contributed to the formation of our nation's government. Some of the most important issues on the policy agenda in Philadelphia concerned equality. 3 issues occupied more attention than almost any others. These 3 issues are whether the states were to be equally represented, what to do about slavery, and whether to ensure political equality.
Hi, I am William Patterson, and I propose the New Jersey plan calling for every state to be equally represented in the new Congress.
I am Edmund Randolph, and I propose the Virginia plan, calling for giving each state representation in the Congress based on state's share of the American population.
Hi, I am Johnson and Sherman, and I propose the Connecticut Compromise, establishing 2 houses of Congress, the House of Representatives, in which representation is based on a state's share of the U.S. population, and the Senate, in which each state has 2 representatives. The second issue is what should be done about slavery.
Don't disturb me!
Although Congress was permitted to stop the importing of slaves after 1808, the Constitution is mostly silent on the issue of slavery. The delegates disputed over how the slaves should be counted for representation in the House of Representatives. The result was the famous 3/5 compromise, which made each slave count as 3/5 of a person.
The third issue, being political equality, the delegates answered the question: should the right to vote be based on universal manhood, suffrage, or should it be very restricted?
Let the states decide qualifications for voting.
All right, Spencer's going to tell us about the Declaration of Independence.
The Declaration of Independence, primarily written by Thomas Jefferson, signed by all the representatives who founded this country. Essentially, the ideas of the Declaration of Independence were derived from the ideas of the Enlightenment writers over in Western Europe, such as Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Locke, and Hobbes.
Give this to Daniel Shea.
Yes, sir.
Action.
Daniel Shea,
Yeah.
your land is now ours.
What?
Nice try.
Dan's about to tell us about Shays' Rebellion and the Constitution right now.
Shays' Rebellion. If people think that state governments weren't strong enough, we need a strong centralized government with all 13 states. Constitution was part of that.
Now what actually happened with Spencer.
Shays' Rebellion was basically the beginning of the formation of our country's Constitution. It pointed out the flaws with the Articles of Confederation and the design of government we were trying to create.
Okay, so all the branches of government have checks and balances over each other, and the legislative branch has checks and balances over the executive branch, which are like Congress can approve presidential nominations and they control the budget, and they can pass laws over the president's veto, and they can impeach the president and remove him or her from office. They also have checks and balances over the judicial branch. The Senate confirms the presidential nominations, and Congress can impeach judges and remove them from office.
All right. The judicial branch also has some checks and balances over the legislative branch, which is the courts can declare laws unconstitutional. Also over the president, which is the executive branch, the courts can declare President X unconstitutional. Pretty much both the same.
The checks and balances of the executive branch include the president can veto. The checks and balances of the executive branch include the president can veto congressional legislation, and the executive branch can also nominate judges to the judicial branch. Specifically, the president can do that.
Hello, class. We're here to talk about federalism today. It's a way of organizing the nation so that two or more levels of government have formal authority over the same power and land. It's a system of shared power between units of government.
Go.
Alright, check this out. I'm about to rob this girl in Wendell, Ohio. Ugh. Now that I'm in Ohio, I'm safe.
Oh, watch it, punk. You're going back to jail in Michigan. You committed that crime. Yeah, it's called
Don't make me
extradition.
laugh.
It's part of the Constitution.
What's extradition, dude?
Oh, it's when you commit a crime in a different state and then you try to flee to our state. Me, the police, I'm going to take you back to Michigan where you did it. Okay, we're going to talk about some grants right now. The first grant we're going to talk about is the categorical grant, which is the main source of federal aid to state and local governments, and it's just used for specific purposes of state and local spending. The other grant is project grants, which is part of the federal categorical.
Oh, yeah. You know the good one, Dave.
That's what I'm talking about.
Try again.
Hi. We're gonna talk about some grants right now. First grant is the categorical grant, which is the main source of federal aid to state and local governments. And one of the categorical grants is a project grant, which is given for specific purpose and awarded on the basis of the merits of applications. So an example of that is like the National Science Foundation. Another grant we've got to deal with today is formula grants, which is another categorical grant, which is distributed according to a formula, which is specified in legislation or in administrative regulations. You can't really apply for these. These are based on population, the per capita income, and percent of rural population. And the last type of grants are block grants, which are federal grants that are given almost automatically to states or communities to support broad programs in areas such as community development and social services.
Bye.